In the busy halls of a well-known university, amid students rushing from class to class, Alia walked quietly. She was known, but not known. Always early, always distant, she avoided unnecessary conversation with the opposite gender. Never laughed aloud in the corridors. If a guy passed by, she shifted to the side without meeting his eyes. Some whispered, she must be shy. Others assumed she has confidence issues. A few thought maybe someone forced her. And some concluded she's just afraid of guys. But what no one knew was that Alia wasn't afraid. She was aware. She wasn't weak. She was choosing to be strong every day in silence. Weeks turned into months, and the same girl they thought was shy stood on stage at the university seminar and delivered a speech that held the audience silent. She debated fiercely, quoting references, answering boldly. She delivered Islamic lectures to both sisters and faculty. Her voice, confident. Her words, grounded. Her message, clear. And that's when the confusion began. They realized she wasn't shy. She had confidence. She just didn't offer it where it wasn't needed. She set boundaries with kindness. She spoke when necessary, firm, respectful, but never soft with non-mahram. Even male professors noticed it. Some respected it, others didn't. After class one day, Professor Kareem paused her.
Alia, you're brilliant, but you should maintain eye contact when you speak. Confidence shows in the eyes.
Another day, another professor joked.
Lowering your gaze might work in madarsa, not here. This is university. Be realistic.
At first, she shrugged it off, but their words started echoing. Am I being too rigid? The question circled, like a whisper she couldn't mute. Maybe it's true. Confidence needs to be visible. So she tried, just a little. In her next presentation, she looked around, not at the sisters, not at her paper, but at him, a male classmate. And he looked back. Their eyes met for a second. He stared. She blinked, and in that moment, something cracked inside her. Not because he did anything wrong, but because she knew. She had always lowered her gaze, not out of shyness, but out of sincerity. And now something felt off, like stepping 1 inch off a cliff you didn't see coming. She walked home in silence. The applause from her presentation, it meant nothing now. All she could hear was the voice in her chest. You knew better. That night, her room was still, the kind of stillness that presses on your soul. She opened the Quran, needing something, needing a sign, and it came. Surah Al-Haqqa. But as for he who is given his record in his left hand, he will say, "Oh, I wish I had not been given my record." Her eyes froze, then welled, then broke. She read it again, not with her eyes, but with her soul. She saw herself. If this one glance becomes a habit, if this one compromise opens the door to more, then what kind of record will I hold? A record where he saw everything while she kept looking away from his commands. How did I trade Allah's command for someone's approval? How did I loosen my rope with Allah just to tighten my ties with creation? She whispered, "Ya Allah, don't let me be among them." She closed the Quran, but the verse stayed open in her soul. That night, she cried. She repented. And the next day, She returned to her quiet battle, gaze lowered, heart lifted. Weeks later, a newly joined junior named Zainab approached her between classes. "Can I ask you something?" Aliyah nodded. "Why don't you ever look at the brothers, even when they speak to you? You always lower your gaze, even with professors. Is it because you're shy? Or is it something else?" Aliyah smiled softly. "No, Zainab, it's not about shyness. It's about sincerity. It's about the eyes. The eyes are part of Haya too. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "The glance is a poisoned arrow from the arrows of Shaytan." Zainab looked puzzled. "But how does that trap you?" Aliyah paused, then said, "My grandmother once told me something when I was 15. She said, 'You laugh, you're trapped.'" Zainab blinked. "What does that mean?" "It means," Aliyah said, "when you start looking at non-mahram, you start listening, then you start laughing. Silly jokes, casual moments, and then you start caring. You wait for their glance. You crave their presence. That's how desire enters the heart, not all at once, but drop by drop. And before you know it, you're enslaved." She continued, "The eye is the mirror of the heart. So if the slave lowers his gaze, the heart will lower its desires and whims. And if he lets his gaze wander, the desire in his heart will be released." Imam Ibn al-Qayyim, Allah have mercy on him, lowering the gaze for men and women is like raising your shield. It's not just for the eyes, it's for the heart, for your Haya, for your akhirah. Zainab nodded slowly, eyes reflecting thought. Unknown to both of them, a guy classmate had walked by. His name was Idris. He had noticed Aliyah's silence, her discipline. But he never looked, never lingered. He was fighting his own battle, guarding his gaze, drowning silently in a culture that mocked restraint. But when he heard her words to Zainab, his heart trembled. "Ya Allah, I don't even know her name fully. But if a woman can fear you like this, then grant me someone like her, if it is good for my deen." He walked on, never approached her, never tried to know more. University ended. Time moved on. Life happened. One evening, Idris came home from work. His mother called him. "There's a proposal, Bita, a family we trust. I want you to consider." He nodded. "Ya Allah, I trust you. Whatever you decree, I will accept." A few days later, Aliyah sat with her father. "There's a brother's family asking about you. They seem genuine, humble. Should I proceed?" She nodded gently. On the day of the nikah, Idris finally saw her, and he remembered her. Not her face, not her eyes, but her lowered gaze, her strength, her taqwa. That's what stayed with him. That's what he remembered. They began their new life that day, not with fanfare, but with gratitude and the remembrance of Allah. To the girl who guards her eyes when no one is watching, to the brother who turns away when temptation walks by, know this: the glance may be hidden, but Allah sees the war inside, and He never lets a silent battle go unrewarded, because every story that begins with obedience ends with barakah.